Hello and thank you for joining me today. I'm Jan Clothier from Thinking Stamping and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in New Zealand. And today I thought I would share with you how I made some of these items for the Around the World on Wednesday blog hop, where the theme was Festive Paperscapes. And so I'm thinking Christmas, and so I made some little Christmas crackers and I made these little table decorations. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time showing you each of those things and the products that I made to make them with. Now, if you live in New Zealand and you see anything that I used today and you would like to purchase it from me, there is a link to my online store in the video description and on the end card at the end of this video. So we're going to start with these, the table centers or the table decorations. They're double, I made them double-sided so you can look at them from both directions. And I used the Brightest Glow set and the Christmas lights set, and I used the matching dies, the twinkling lights and the Labels Aglow. And in fact, those are the products that I used for the Christmas crackers as well, but we'll more about that later. Okay, and I also used the Brightest Glow Specialty DSP. So the first thing that you need to do is choose a paper for the trees. So the packet of paper has several different greens in it, but I picked this one with the golden lights in it, so it would look like decorations. Could have used the other side, the starry side is nice as well. And then I used, from the Twinkling Lights dies, the outline of the tree and the little insert, which cuts out little light, like little beads of light in it. So I took that and I cut two of those out. And here's some I prepared earlier. So you can see that the dies cut out the little twinkling lights. The other thing you need is some gold glimmer paper. Now I used glimmer paper from this packet, which is I think it's called the Glimmer Specialty Paper. And so you get 2 sheets of Evening Evergreen glimmer paper, vanilla and gold. So I took some of the gold from that and just the tree outline die, and I cut 2 of those. Okay, so that's what we started off with, and that's the most important stuff you need. So then it was very simple from there. I got my glue and I just glued around the edges of the tree, the top and the sides, but not the bottom, because I'm trying to make a little pocket. So don't do the bottom, just glue the top and the sides, and then I just glued them together. Okay, and then, just move that out of the way, I took one of my little trees that I've cut out of the DSP. That you can glue along the bottom because you want it to stick onto the glimmer paper tree that you've done. So a little bit of glue. Now, because you are adhering this to a textured surface, you do have to make sure that you give it a good press. And in fact, best thing of all would be to stick it under a heavy book and leave it for a little while so that the glue has got time to stick onto the rougher surface of the glimmer paper. Okay, so then other side, because remember we're making a 2-sided decoration. So that side. Okay, so it's the same both sides. And I'm just going to pop it aside. Oops, you see what I mean? The textured paper is just a little bit difficult to stick to. So we'll just get that going. And I'm just going to pop that over to the side underneath a couple of things. Whoops, just while I talk about the next step. So as you can see from these, I added in some sentiments. Now you don't have to do that, but I thought it looked quite nice to add in some wording. So that I picked from the Brightest Glow set. There are 3 greetings which fit inside this very pretty little die. That circular die with the dots and the holes at the side. So there are 3 sentiments which fit that out of this set. So 'Tis the Season, Joy, and All is Merry and Bright will fit. Actually, Let Your Heart Be Light will also fit. So you've got a choice of things that you can use. I have gone away and onto some very vanilla paper. I've gold embossed the Joy, and then I have just die cut it out with that. And we'll adhere those later. The other thing you need to do is how you're going to make the tree stand up. Now, what I used was just a bamboo kitchen skewer, and then I worked out how tall I wanted it to be. So I'm going, okay, I want my tree to be about there. So I'm going to cut it. I'm just going to cut a bit off with a pair of scissors. So all I'm going to do is just score it round with scissors. Don't use your fussy cutting scissors, and then just snap it off. And what that's going to do, so hopefully this is set enough. When I made mine, I did leave them a bit longer, but we'll see. Okay, so now because we didn't glue along the bottom, we've got a little pocket. We can pop the skewer in so our tree can stand up. And then you need something for the tree to hold it upright. So what I used was I just got some blue tack out of my stationery drawer, made a little ball, and boom, popped it in. Now, by itself, you could do it like that. You could wrap that around with some ribbon or some wrapping paper or some tissue with a bow. You could, like one of the things I tried doing, and it was quite successful, is I had a little glass jar and I put that inside and put some paper around it and some stuff inside the jar to hide the blue tack, and that worked really well. But what I did in the end, as you can see, is I made these little boxes. Now these little boxes are straight from Pootles, pootles.co.uk. It is her triangular 2x2 treat box. Now if you want to make one and you want the measurements neither imperial or metric, then I'll put the link to her video and tutorial on how to make that box up for you so you can get all the measurements. But it's actually surprisingly easy. It makes, that's just the 21 centimetres, so the width of a piece of A4, 10 centimetres, a little bit of scoring, and it's actually very, very easy to put together. Like you can make one in easily under 10 minutes, probably under 5 minutes, and you just need a couple of little squares of DSP to decorate the front of the box. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that together. Okay, so when you've got your box assembled and you've added on your DSP, which is, because the frontage is 5 by 5, that's 4.5 centimetres square. Okay, all you need to do is, and the ribbon that I used here is the, what's it called? The satin edged ribbon, which is part of the Lights Aglow Suite from the 2022 July to December mini catalogue. Beautiful Christmas ribbon. So I used 30 centimetres of that to make the bow. Then you just take your little Christmas tree on its skewer, press it into the bottom, and do up the bow. Easy as that. Now, I did not glue on the stick to the tree, but if you wanted to, you could. If you wanted to make it a little bit more secure, you could do that. And then I'm just going to trim the ends of that ribbon because I mangled them a little bit, getting them through the holes. Oh, the holes I punched with my small punch, I think it's a 1/8 inch punch, which is a retired item now. So you might have one, or you might have a crocodile. Whatever you use to punch your holes with is just what I used to punch there. So you can see that because I did that in a bit of a hurry, that's just slightly come undone. It won't do when you make one because you'll leave it a bit longer than I did to do that. Now, when I did my trees earlier, I dimensional them on, which is fine. I'm not unhappy with that, but you can equally just glue them on. So it's whatever you want to do. I'm going to glue these ones just so I can get a slightly different look. And I'm just going to glue on my joy on one side, and then I'm going to glue my joy onto the second side. And I think when I set my Christmas table, I've made 3 of them, and now I've made 4 of them. I'm just going to put them up the centre of my Christmas table and amongst all of the food ready for people to dish up, just as a little decoration. Now, if you wanted to, you could add in some festive pearls or some rhinestones to give the tree a bit of extra bling. But the only thing that I'm going to add on to it is, as soon as I can pick them up, I die cut myself a couple of little stars. So again, from the Twinkling Lights set, I use this little die here which cuts 3 different size small stars. So I'm going to use those. There's also a larger one, a larger sort of a tree topper star that you can add in. But I'm just going to do those little stars, and I'm just going to give them a little dot of glue. And I'm just going to add that to finish off my tree. As I said, you can embellish your tree just as much as you want to. You can put on as many rhinestones, as many glittery stars, whatever you want to do. Okay. Now that's just a little bit loose because, as I say, the glue hasn't quite had time to set as much as I would like. But I think you can see just how easy those little table centres are to make. Okay. So that was one element of my festive paperscape. But the other thing was my tray of crackers. Now I did use, as I said, the Brightest Glow and the Christmas lights, the Lights Aglow Suite. But at the heart of this is the cracker and treat box dies. Now these come out of the 2022 annual catalogue, and obviously, although they are wonderful at Christmas time, you can use them at any time of the year. And the other thing I discovered about them is you can make different sized crackers with them. So if you just cut the die, which is, the main die is this one. Whoops, come off there. Okay, the main die is that one. If you just cut that and make that in a standard shape, you get a cracker that's this big. If you fold it slightly differently, you'll get a little tiny cracker like that. But the ones that I made, you can upsize them. And so that's the size of the crackers that I made. And I'm just going to show you how to do that because you have to do an extra step to just the, straight out cracker. So what I did was, again, I had to choose a paper from the Lights Aglow Specialty DSP, and I love that black and gold. I think that's really classy. So if you're going to make the upsized cracker, and you can see the difference in size of the upsized cracker, what you need to do is when you if you're going to die cut one, what you have to do is you have to die cut 2. So I have done that already. There they are. And I cut 2 at once. Now, so if you're going to make the upsized crackers from 6x6 paper like this, you'll get 2 crackers out of 3 sheets of paper. If you're only going to make 1 cracker, then you need 1.5 sheets of paper to do it. Now I'm going to make up the 3rd cracker later, so I have cut 2. And then you take your paper trimmer and you cut one of them in half. So you need 1.5 die cuts for each of the upsized crackers. So that's going to make that one, and that sheet, when I cut it out, I'm going to make a 2nd cracker. Okay, so the first thing you're going to have to do is, well I prefer to do my folding first. So obviously, I'm only going to fold it with my fingers. I'm not going to use my bone folder because I don't want to crease it so severely that the paper cracks, and paper's not quite as sturdy as cardstock. So I'm just using finger folds. And you're also going to have to fold it along there. And fold that up. Okay. And that way you're going to get your cracker folding nicely. And do the same to your extension piece. So down there, up there, down there, up there, and then along and along. Okay, I did cut these. When I cut them both at the same time. The dies will take that. If you're just using paper, I wouldn't do that if I was doing cardstock, because I think that'd be a bit thick. So I'm going to glue, put in a bit of glue along this piece. And I'm going to join it on. And all you have to do really is just line up the edges and press it. And the thing about using glue, of course, as you know, is it gives you wiggle room. Okay, and so when I've done that, then I'm going to do a similar thing here. I'm going to glue, put the glue on here. Oops, come on, glue. I don't want to use so much glue that it oozes, but I want to use enough glue that it's going to attach firmly. If I thought that the glue was too thick, I'd have got a piece of sponge or a piece of cloth and just sort of lightly tapped it over to get rid of the excess, so that when I put them together, I'm not going to get glue oozing out the sides. Okay, so again, just line up the pieces, line up the edges, make sure it looks nice. Give it a good press, because you know you want it to join nicely. And really that's pretty much it. What you have to do next is give it something to hold it together. I'm using the Simply Elegant trim because I love that gold and silver cord. It's great all year round, but obviously it's perfect for Christmas time. So I'm going to use 30 centimetres because I want to have a bit of a dramatic tail on my cracker. So if you don't need as much of a dramatic tail, then use less than 30 centimetres, which for those of you who are metric is 12 inches. So I'm just going to tie that. Give me my little dramatic tail. Now at this point you would stuff your things. My ones here, you can see it's holding a punny Christmas joke. It's got 2 small size treats and a 3rd mystery item in each of those. So you'd poke in whatever you're going to put in your cracker. You're going to get another 30 centimetres of cord, and then you just tie up the other end. And okay, let's see what happens. I'm not quite sure how well it will tie up while it's empty. It should work. Well, I guess we'll find out in a moment. Oh yes, beautiful. And then that's like that. Now, if you wanted to, I'm pretty sure you could insert a cracker snap so that you could actually pull them apart, but I mean mine are aiming to be more decorative on the table and not actually, you know, pull apart crackers. But as I say, I think a cracker snap you could insert if you wanted to. Okay, so there's our little cracker. Now you can decorate it however you want. The cracker and treat box dies are lovely because they come with these different shaped labels which you can stamp and attach. You know, they all fit and there's lovely. There's 5 different shapes of those. There's these little things which will make a little tag if you want to put a name on it, and it gives you the stars and the hearts to die cut out. As you can see, all I did for mine was I just added on 3 stars. And the other thing, of course, you could do is you could get any of your Christmas sets and you could add little holly and you could add little leaves and foliages. I mean, you can decorate them pretty much however you want to. I'm just scrabbling off to the side here because somewhere I had 3 stars already die cut to just pop on there. They seem to have disappeared off the face of the earth. But anyway, you get the idea. You just add on some stars or whatever it is that you want to do with your crackers. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so I hope that's given you some ideas for how you might decorate your own Christmas table in a quick and easy way. I also think these little Christmas trees look really nice, just kind of like popped on a mantelpiece or something like that as well. And also, of course, will make lovely little gifts. So that's it, some ideas for a festive paperscape for you. If you like what you've seen and you haven't subscribed already, then please do so. If you live in New Zealand and you've seen products that you'd like to buy, then there's a link to my online store at the end on the end card of this video and in the description below. And if you want to make some more of those boxes, Pootles and the Pootles triangular treat boxes, and I will put the link in the video description below. So thank you very much for joining me, and happy crafting.